The Korean War, which lasted from 1950 to 1953, was a significant military conflict that involved the United States, South Korea, and North Korea. The war was fought primarily to stop the spread of communism in the Korean peninsula and was one of the first major conflicts of the Cold War. The involvement of the United States in the Korean War was significant, both in terms of its military contributions and its political impact. The United States provided military aid and support to South Korea, and its troops fought alongside South Korean soldiers against the communist forces of North Korea and China. In this article, we will explore the participation of the United States in the Korean War, from the beginning of the conflict to its eventual conclusion. We will discuss the difficulties faced by the United States in the war, as well as its successes and failures. Through a comprehensive analysis of real data and facts, we aim to provide a detailed account of the United States' involvement in the Korean War. The beginning of the war. The Korean War began on June 25, 1950, when North Korean troops invaded South Korea. The North Korean invasion caught the United States and other Western powers by surprise, and they were unprepared to respond. The United States initially did not have a significant military presence in Korea, and the South Korean military was weak and ill-equipped. The North Koreans quickly captured Seoul, the capital of South Korea, and pushed southwards. The United States responded to the North Korean invasion by providing military aid to South Korea and sending troops to the country. On July 7, 1950, President Harry S. Truman ordered the deployment of U.S. ground troops to Korea under the United Nations Command, UNC. The U.S. military intervention was part of a broader effort by the United States to contain the spread of communism in the region. Difficulties faced by the United States. The United States faced several difficulties in the Korean War, primarily due to the terrain and climate of Korea. The rugged, mountainous terrain of Korea made it difficult for U.S. forces to maneuver and fight effectively. The harsh winter weather in Korea also posed a significant challenge for U.S. troops, many of whom were not accustomed to such conditions. Another significant challenge faced by the United States was the intervention of Chinese forces in the war. In October 1950, Chinese troops entered the conflict on the side of North Korea, dramatically increasing the scale of the conflict. The Chinese intervention caught the United States by surprise, and U.S. forces were forced to withdraw to the south. The Chinese intervention also led to a significant increase in casualties for U.S. forces. Successes and failures. The United States had several significant successes in the Korean War. U.S. forces played a crucial role in pushing back the North Korean invasion and preventing the collapse of the South Korean government. U.S. air power was also a critical factor in the war, with U.S. aircraft conducting more than 620,000 sorties and dropping over 600,000 tons of bombs on North Korea. However, the United States also faced several failures in the Korean War. The failure to anticipate and respond effectively to the Chinese intervention was a significant setback for the United States. The Chinese intervention led to a significant increase in casualties for U.S. forces and prolonged the conflict. The inability of the United States to achieve a decisive victory in the Korean War also raised questions about the effectiveness of U.S. military strategy. The end of the war. The Korean War ended on July 27, 1953, with the signing of the Armistice Agreement between the United Nations Command, North Korea, and China. The Armistice Agreement established a demilitarized zone, DMZ, between North and South Korea and provided for the repatriation of prisoners of war. However, the Armistice Agreement did not officially end the war, as a peace treaty was never signed. The Korean peninsula remained divided into two separate countries, with tensions between North and South Korea continuing to this day. The participation of the United States in the Korean War was significant, both in terms of its military contributions and its political impact. The United States provided military aid and support to South Korea, and its troops fought alongside South Korean soldiers against the communist forces of North Korea and China. The United States faced several difficulties in the Korean War, primarily due to the terrain, climate, and intervention of Chinese forces. However, the United States also had several significant successes in the war, such as pushing back the North Korean invasion and using air power effectively. Ultimately, the Korean War ended in an armistice agreement, establishing a demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, but tensions between the two countries continue to this day.